Welcome back to another episode of Play by Play presented by Win or Lose Sports. This episode is all about NBA playoffs. NBA playoffs started last weekend and a lot happened. Every home team basically won every home game. Every home team won every home game. I think that's the first time that happened since 2013. But there's a reason why this is happening. And it's mainly because the top seeds looks like they're focused this year, and especially when it comes to the teams like Boston Celtics, who blew out the Miami Heat. Of course, without Jimmy Butler, who's injured right now, but the Boston Celtics look good. They looked like they were ready to go for a championship, and then it wasn't just Jason Tatum; it was Jaylen Brown who played phenomenal in Game 1. Of course, the other parts of the team. Porzingis, Derek White, Drew Holiday, and they looked like they had solid chemistry and continuity, even though this is the first year that they've been playing together. And I think this has something to do with the way that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum leads the team. They lead the team with a confidence of freedom. That means that they know this is their team. But on the other hand, they know that Drew Holiday is a solid point guard and can lead the team on the floor. They know that Porzingis can be a monster on defense and is effective anywhere on offense, anywhere on the floor. And the reason why I'm bringing up continuity is because when you look at the Lakers and the Denver Nuggets Game 1, talking about the continuity of Denver and the lack thereof when it comes to the Lakers, because the Lakers had I think 12-point lead in that game between the first and second quarter, and it was mainly LeBron and AD. I think LeBron had 18 points in the first half and AD had 16 points in the first half. But it was between those two guys basically carrying the team. And when you got players like D'Lo, who had some of the, questionable turnovers, questionable decision making that causes turnovers. The skip pass that he threw the Prince on a fast break that went out of bounds. Unnecessary pass. When you are trying to build this momentum or keep this momentum and Denver's fighting their way back into the game, that's not the play that you make in that position. And that comes with not just experience, but basketball IQ, situational awareness. And that's something that I think that D'Lo has lacked since he's got to the league, is situational awareness. You don't make certain decisions in certain situations. And you can go back to other players like Jordan Poole, who's no longer with the Golden State Warriors, who didn't have situational awareness. When you're shooting threes from 40 feet and, there's no reason to do that. But D'Lo, and you count in the missed layups, the missed shots, open layups that he missed, and not just D'Lo, but other players on the Lakers team that seem to me that's not in that same mindset or focus as LeBron and AD are right now when it comes to the playoffs. Now switching over to Denver, who has that solid continuity when it comes to their offense. And it is because they've been playing together, and it is because the high IQ of Jokic and Jamal Murray and the people around them. When you have high IQ players who are constantly talking to you on the floor, your IQ is going to go up. There is a such thing as low IQ players getting better IQ. But it's up to that player who doesn't have the high IQ to actually listen to the players who do have a high IQ. So when you think about the Denver Nuggets, when they run the high pick and roll with Jamal Murray and the Joker. Joker says the pick, Jamal Murray, he's going to do the floater Or he's going to pass it over to Joker, do a little lob pass to Joker or bounce pass to Joker. And Joker is going to do one or two things. He's going to make the little hook shot, or he's going to throw a little lob over to Aaron Gordon coming off the wing. That's something that they've learned over the years. That pick and roll is something that every team does that pick and roll. But it's the way they are quick with the decision making. The reason why they're quick with the decision making is because they have continuity on the floor. They've been playing together for so long that they don't even have to think about what's going to happen. And you can predict this is going to happen watching the game. It's crazy that the defense can't see this happening on the floor when they've been doing it for years. But I think that's another thing with high IQ basketball on the floor. There's a way to stop that pick and roll and then the stop and lob to Gordon. But it's not just up to one player or two players on the floor to recognize that play and try to stop it. It's up to multiple people on the floor to say, I recognize what's going on. I talked about this on a couple of other episodes before. I recognize what's going on the floor. Let me make an adjustment. See, LeBron made the adjustment when he saw the pick and roll with Murray and Joker. And he tried to pick up Joker. But the problem was the weak side, I think it was Prince on the other side, or Rui Hachimura was on the other side, didn't pick up that Gordon was going for the lob. I mean, it happened. You can see it happening. But because of the lack of continuity on defense with those guys, they don't have that unspoken language of, I got your back, because I know you're helping out, so I'm going to go help out your man. I'm going to guard your man or help out on your man. So that's what's lacking from the Lakers and other teams when it comes to playoff basketball. I know a lot of people are going to say, well, you can't put it all on LeBron. You can't put it on LeBron. It's true. LeBron can't play all five positions. AD can't defend all five positions on the floor. So it's up to these other guys like Hachimura, Prince, Austin Reeves, D'Lo, to be focused mentally. That's what this game is all about. It's about mental focus. Who has the greatest mental focus throughout these series in order to make it through the series and make it to the championship, make it to the finals and win the finals? That's what it's all about. And the continuity comes into play is when everyone has the same mental focus. If not the exact same, they're going to be on the same playing field. That means that Jamal Murray is going to is having a bad night shooting. That means KCP is going to it might be having a good night shooting. So we're going to give it to KCP. We're going to run those plays that we're going to run for Jamal for KCP because he's a shooter. So we know that Michael Porter Jr. is having a bad night shooting. So now Aaron Gordon, who's not a great shooter, but he's a decent shooter, we're going to run those plays for Gordon now. But they don't have to speak these things. They know these things because of the continuity, because of how Mike Malone has drawn up the offense, and they can switch from left to right without even having to speak. Okay, we know they're defending hard on the baseline to the right. So now we're going to run to the other side because AD is over on the right side. Now we're going to run to the other side because Hachimura is on the other side, and he's not that great of a defender. Or he's not as great as Anthony Davis. There's only a minimal or a few teams who have that energy, that continuity. And Denver right now is the best there is when it comes to that. And I think it's because they've been playing so long. Miami they have that, but right now they can't show that because their key piece is missing, which is Jimmy Butler. Tyler Hero can score 50 points a game, but that doesn't matter if they're not getting the energy that they get from Jimmy Butler. Bam Adebayo, can score 40 points and get 20 rebounds, but they can't win if they don't have that energy that they're getting from Jimmy. If somebody else stepped up and give that same energy, give that same Jimmy Butler energy. They call him playoff Jimmy. There's no such thing as a playoff, but there is. There's a playoff, this playoff energy that some players give off that excites and gets the other players on their team excited and it gets them into that mental state of playoff basketball. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown been playing together since 2017. So 7 years together. Finals run, Eastern Conference championships, Eastern Conference finals. Haven't won a championship yet, but the way they play together, even Derek White, who's been playing with them for about 3 years now, and Al Horford, about 3.5 years now. So they have this certain continuity. You don't have to worry about who's going to do what energy they're bringing. Now, you did have to worry about that a couple years ago. And you probably did have to worry about that last year. But the way that the Boston Celtics have been playing all year, 60-plus wins this year, it's like they're showing that they do have this continuity, they do have this energy, that they don't even have to speak certain things on the floor. And that's an advantage. That's an advantage that you have over other teams. You can just make eye contact. When me and my brothers played, or me and my guy, Andre Cook played, we had eye contact. We had certain ways we looked at, like, okay, or me and Avon, we had certain eye contact that, okay, like, I'm about to go back door. I don't even have to say anything because the eye contact, if I'm going up floor and they see me, they see I hit a jump shot, they know that I'm going to go down and get a pick from the man down low and swing up top and get another jump shot. Because they know how I play. They know I knew how they played the ball. I knew how they passed the ball, where they passed the ball, where they placed the ball, they knew where I like to have the ball placed when I shoot. So that's the continuity that certain teams don't have. And it's surprising that players that play with LeBron don't have this continuity because he's a big talker when it comes to educating people in the game, during the game, post-game, pre-game, doing practices. So I think that's what they're lacking is high IQ players. To be honest, D'Lo is not a high IQ player. He's a great shooter. When he's consistent, he's a great shooter. He's a great point man. But the problem is mentally he's not there. He's not. And to be honest, I thought he would be playing with LeBron again this year. But he loses something. Some games he just loses something to where he's not there 100% mentally, and it makes. I know it's frustrating for LeBron. I know it's frustrating for the coach. So, is there a way to bring that energy out, that mental focus out of players who don't have it? When you have multiple players like that on the team. Now, certain players go about a certain way. When you look at The Last Dance and you talk about Michael Jordan and the Bulls, how Jordan handled it was totally different than LeBron, like total opposite of how LeBron handles teammates. But Jordan said he had to do it a certain way because that's the way he knew how to win. I'm going to be hard on you. I'm going to be tough on you in practice because how tough I am on you in practice, you're not going to get that in the game. So the toughness that you get on the basketball court in the real game is far less of intense than what I'm going to give you. So that means when it's time to come to play basketball during the season in the playoffs, you're going to be ready. And to be honest, they were ready. When you look at Steve Kerr, Scott Burrell, Horace Grant, Scottie Pippen, B.J. Armstrong, even like players like Jud Bush or Purdue, those guys were ready when the time came. Luke Longley, those guys were ready when the time came because Jordan made sure that they had continuity on the floor. You know where Jordan's going to be. You know where I'm going to be. So I'm going to expect the ball here when I get there. Or when I got the ball and I'm driving to the hole, you know where you're going to be to get an open shot because they're going to double team me. So that was something that they built, that he instilled in his teammates over the years, and expected them to have that same mental focus or mental strength when the time came, when it actually counted during the playoffs, during the finals. So LeBron's approach might be a little different than Jordan, but I get where some players can't get to that level because of the approach by LeBron. Not that his approach is wrong, but it's just different. Like, for instance, I don't know the Joker's approach, but to me, his demeanor seems like he's a teacher, just like LeBron. But he's a tougher teacher because of his upbringing. So he expects his teammates to be at a certain level mentally. And he expects the team, even Mike Malone, the coach, expects the team to be at a certain level on the floor as far as the chemistry, continuity, mental focus. When you go play by play by play and you see the same plays over and over again and they're effective and they're working, that's continuity, because I'm going to run the same play and dare you to stop it. Just like in 2K, just like in Madden, some people do. I'm going to run the same play or same type of plays and dare you to stop it, because that's how focused they are. That's how much confidence they have in what they do, because they drill it in themselves over and over and over again. It's like certain players like D'Lo don't have that, or don't execute the exercise that they've been doing in practice or in drills or in film. And they just, sometimes when you get on the floor, it just goes out your head, because you don't have that tough mental toughness. So you kind of lose it when you're out there on the floor. And I think that's going to be the difference in a lot of these series, even in Milwaukee and Indiana. This is Dame's first year playing with Milwaukee, but he's been to the playoffs. He missed the playoffs, 2 years in a row in Portland. So now he's focused, like, oh, that's not going to happen this year. This year, I don't care if Giannis is on the floor or not. I'm going to do what I got to do to win these games. And that's what it looked like in the first half. Of course, he had 35 points in the first half, none in the second half to beat Indiana in game one, but they won the game. So it's about, even Minnesota, they may not have the experience, but they have a certain energy, a certain continuity, a certain energy, and everyone's on that same energy level, that same wavelength. And it shows on the floor. It doesn't show in Phoenix. I don't care how much experience Durant has or how much experience that Bill and Devin Booker have. They don't have it together. They don't have that same energy together on the floor. So it affects them when they're playing the game, when they play tough games like this. You can't win tough games like that if your energy is not the same. You don't have the same continuity, the same energy level on the floor. Your chemistry is off. Like, something's off about this team. Yeah, they don't have it. Durant is playing. It's like Durant's playing for himself to prove that I am a superstar, winning with Golden State or not. I'm still a superstar, and I'm gonna push this team to make it, and win another championship without Steph and Draymond and Clay. But that plays a part in how Phoenix as a team comes together and try to play together, because now it's like Durant and the Phoenix Suns are trying to win a championship instead of the Phoenix Suns trying to win a championship. Now, the continuity with Steph, Clay, and Draymond, and I kind of talked about this last week, it kind of fell apart because of the actions of Draymond on the floor, in the locker room, in practice, with other teammates. with opponents, that affects the continuity of the team. So now it's like there's no that energy is gone. That energy is off a little bit. Like something's off. Yeah, it's because that energy that Draymond can say, like, I'm sorry all I want, and I changed and I'm doing something. I'm trying to be different, but his actions on the floor tells otherwise, and that is a disappointment to Clay, to Steve Kerr, to Stephen Curry, and to the other teammates, and to the ownership. It's like, do we want this? Do we want this energy? Well, like, we want the continuity that Denver has right now, or the continuity that we had back in 17-18. But they can't have that now if Draymond's energy is off a little bit. And now that Draymond's energy is off, that means and Clay's energy on the floor is low because he feels like I'm not the same guy anymore. My game is off. So now I have to do something to try to change my game and bring my energy up. And now Steph is like pulling everybody's energy, and it's not. And Steph can't do it by himself. That's the difference in the playoffs. When it comes to that time in the playoffs and the play peak level is up here instead of down here like in the regular season, like that continuity and that chemistry plays a huge part in it. It comes down to coaching, management, teammates on the floor, and practice. If there is practice in the playoffs, because there's not really any practice in the playoffs. There's film. There's off days. What are you doing with your teammates on off days? So all that plays a part. Denver has maximized that time and energy to their continuity. Boston has maximized that energy. When you talk about off the court energy and continuity, when Jaylen Brown said, "Okay, Porzingis, you can." There's there's buildings or apartments condos that I stay at. You can get one, in the same complex as me. We can ride to practice together, ride to the bus together to go to the next game. That builds energy. That builds continuity. That make Porzingis comfortable with being a part of the team. I feel like a teammate now, even though I'm just now being here. Drew feels like a teammate. That's why they play so well together. I don't know what's happening in LA, but D'Lo, Austin Reeves, Hachimura, like something's off. So that's what they need to fix. That's what all the teams that lost, Phoenix, Lakers, New Orleans, that's what they need to fix. When it comes to winning in the playoffs, Philadelphia, Miami, that's a different issue. They don't have it. They don't have 100% this year, and it's not just because of Jimmy Butler. It's because they have other pieces that are not there. I don't think they have that same skill level. So that's what it comes down to with Boston and Miami. Last year, Boston didn't have the continuity. Now it looks like it's there. And now this year, Miami doesn't have the skill level or the talent level there, or the bodies there. So that's what this episode was all about. Continuity. Building a team together, how well we can play together as a team in order to get over this hump, win in the playoffs, and win a championship. Denver has it. We'll see how far they go this year. This is game 2 tonight versus the Lakers again. Tomorrow, Celtics game 2 against Miami. I'm looking forward to both of these games. Thanks for watching again to this episode of Play by Play, presented by Win or Lose. Make sure you like, subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on all social media at Win or Lose Show. And make sure you download the podcast at Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, wherever you find your podcast. And thanks for watching again. We'll see you next time on Play by Play.